Hello, hello. Perfect. We need... Awesome. So what's up? It's Dinger again. I thought I would do a kind of rerun of the Ether Technology to Electric Universe presentation I did put together for a quick podcast appearance. So let's go. First off, Ether Technology, a rational approach to gravity control by Rho Sigma. I still don't understand how this book even exists. Rho Sigma is a pseudonym for Rolf Schafrank, who worked with Werner von Braun and was a paperclip scientist himself. Also worked in Huntsville with Tom Bearden. I don't know. He wrote this book, I think it was in 1972? 1977. And it's a rational approach to gravity control. There's no math in it, or very little, but it's just documentation of some serious science. That's what it is. It's just all been suppressed. So I brought it up here on this, and I thought I would go to it real quick because I want to go to a couple different inventors that are mentioned in here. First one is on well, I think it starts out by saying by talking about John Searle's device, if I'm not mistaken. Or, my bad, I guess I should mention it starts out with a foreword by Edgar D. Mitchell. I mean, that's just insane if you know anything about that. So, yeah. It starts out with that. Whoops. And we'll just go through it here a little bit. Jeez. It's been a while since I've read the full thing. Oh, Townsend Brown, of course. That's what it starts with. Talks about some of the experiments he started and what he was aiming for. He was using electrostatic potentials on charged symmetrical plates to hopefully achieve anti-gravity. For his breakthrough did not materialize. Meanwhile, a small corporation was organized to carry out further work. It wasn't a small corporation. And they did carry out further work. What's nuts is it actually is still pseudoscience to this day because they say that the Byfield-Brown effect hasn't been tested in a vacuum. But it has. And they say that, well, who cares what mainstream thinks? We think that any field propulsion in a vacuum is anti-gravity. Now, why do we think that? Because you're technically making your own source of gravity, is the theory. Is my synthesis of a theory, anyways. So yeah, more on Townsend Brown. Lots of good stuff here. Here you can see the setup. Electric wind in a hard vacuum. There we go. That's what I was just saying. Boom. The gravitational constant is not a constant at all. It's more like a Zitterbewe gung between a left and right spinning magnetic field, but whatever. Yeah. It's meanwhile back in Europe. So I believe this is where they start talking about John Searle. The case for the ether, we can only get it electrically. So you see, this is one of the first books I just stumbled upon when I started learning about electricity. And I guess I should have prefaced it with that, since I really kind of want to do this as an in-depth kind of deep dive into what I just stumbled upon, apparently. So here's what I did. I one day was like, man, I'm a welder. I can make things. I want to make some electrical stuff. I didn't even know what I want to make. And so I start learning about electricity and just reading as much as I can, trying to pick up the craft from everything that I read. And eventually I was like, well, what do I even want to make? Um, it's like you can make lights and other cool stuff, but what I wanted to make or see if it was even real was Stanley Meyer's hydrogen-powered car, water-powered vehicle. And then I dove deep into that, and I realized that that's real, and I somehow stumbled upon this not long after. I mean, it was just bananas. Um, I don't even know what to think. I just stumbled upon it on Amazon, literally. It just appeared there, and I bought it. It was like $8 at the time. Wild. So, so yeah, that's how I got into all of this. Is just from what is energy, how do I make electricity, how do I use it, what do I even want to build, yada yada yada. And so then I started researching this and just trying to disprove it. I couldn't. I started by looking up Bruce De Palma. That's his name's mentioned once in here. He's legit. He got murked. What are you gonna do? Um, I didn't know if, like, when I first looked up Bruce De Palma, it was all these videos and research subjects and things that he was doing with homopolar motors and dropping gyroscopes. And it's like, okay, what does this even mean? What are you even talking about here, Bruce? I have no clue. So I couldn't really tell, but then, as time progresses, you gain a better understanding and you're like, wow, Bruce, brother. You were on to something. Um almost. Almost. But yeah. So that's Bruce. He's mentioned one time in the book later on. But right now, I believe we're going to get to John Searle. Hold on. Okay, well, you know, there's that. Um, yep, there's the John Searle device. Centrifugal force, centripetal force. Did I already miss the mention of John Searle's name? Or did I just skip it by accident? No, it's right there. Duh. Anyways, so that's John Searle's work. You can go look through that. I apologize for trying to speed through this. I'm a welder by trade, and I work in a headache factory, and I made a big one today. We'll just say that. Bruce De Palma, there he is. The one time he's mentioned. How about that? And it also talks about Marcel Pages, a French doctor. Oh, 2 page. From other spheres of consciousness. So I didn't know anything about Edgar Cayce when I first read this, and I still don't really know much about him other than he was a psychic, I suppose. And I used to not believe in any of that or the astrology or pretty much magic, but now I do. Now I straight up believe in magic. It's just science. And in a real electrical way. Yeah. Conclusions. Let's read some conclusions. The various documented experiment. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm sorry. I'm not used to streaming. I'm not a streaming guy. The various documented experiments and test results described in this book from the United States and countries in Europe point to identical and characteristic attributes of the ether as a universal cosmic pre-atomic force. They are in unique agreement with basic statement on the subject from another sphere of consciousness, a statement given by Edgar Casey in a trance reading as early as 1931. Each atomic force of a physical body is made up of its units of positive and negative forces. That brings it into a material plane. These are of the ether, emphasis by the author, or atomic forces being electrical in nature as they enter into a material basis or become matter in its ability to take on or throw off. So these are clairvoyant psychics, people that are naturally in tune with the human experience. And I tend to, I tend to believe there are physically gifted persons. So, or psionically gifted persons. I don't like to use that word. I'm more interested in the technology, because this all stems to technology. Science is technology, and so is magic. It's all the same thing. And you can, if you haven't already picked up on it, it's an electric universe. Positive and negative charges repel and attract. It's all the same. Charge flow. So there's that. There was one page I really wanted to check out, because 85. That's not it. Here it is. Again, according to Dr. Pages, when the axis of spin of the electrons is merged with the radius of gyration, we witness electromagnetic propulsion by Magnus effect. The electromagnetic spatial vehicle, once it has degravitated from the ground by injection of the required energy for the necessary time, will be able to maintain the state of degravitation theoretically indefinitely. By creating a hole in the cosmic energy, such a hole would give an Archimedean effect. And if we recall our history of science, will we remember that it was Archimedes who discovered the principle of buoyancy? One wonders what the picture will look like when all the pieces of the puzzle are properly placed relative to one another. That's all it is, really. Properly placed in puzzle pieces relative to one another. What was I going to say there? Buoyancy. Archimedes, I don't think, was the first guy to come up with it, actually, but that's neither here nor there. It's all floating. You hear all these people and scientists and physics majors and smart folks talking about physics. They all say, oh, it's a sea of energy. We live in an ocean of electromagnetic potential. Okay, what would gravity be then? Buoyancy, right? Something like that. Yeah. I don't know the equation exactly. I believe it's just the regular gravitational force equation. The equation is similar to the electrostatic field equation, is what's hiding in plain sight for everybody to see, as I believe. But let's keep it rolling. So that's the ether technology. Let's go to Stanley Meyer real quick, because I went over him yesterday. Stanley Meyer, what a man. Not just making water fuel, but also infinite energy and instantaneous hot water. I mean, the guy was Tesla reincarnated, but he wasn't allowed. So, just going over the voltage intensifier circuit. What is this doing? Let me see if you can see this. I got to do the zoom in thing. Here. The voltage intensifier circuit. What is this? Alright, let's figure out what we're doing here. So here's your primary coil. This is where your pulse frequency generator is attached to. This is what your battery is attached to. This is where the energy comes from. It inductively couples to this coil, which is a higher turn ratio, therefore boosting the voltage. Okay? It's simply this symmetrical and mass difference, potential difference, that increases your voltage. So, positive side, you have your switching diode. And in here, on the negative side, oh my god, I can't move backwards. On the negative side, you have no diode in order to complete this secondary circuit flowing this way. Oh my gosh, this is brutal. Flowing that way through the inductively coupled coils on this circuit. So you got inductively coupled coils here, and then inductively coupled coils here. But these are actually capacitively coupled. Why? Because your capacitance comes from here, and your pulse frequency. This whole circuit gets coupled to that and discharges through your water bath and electrodes. While it does that, these things are capacitively coupled to each other because of this primary being attached. It's kind of hard. This is technically the primary to this secondary entire VIC circuit. So primary, secondary, but this is also kind of primary to these two coils. You got that? Okay. So that's the VIC circuit. These things resonate capacitively coupled together to inhibit amp flow. What does that mean? You're not taking energy from the primary. It's simply between the resonant action of the coils of the circuit that allows theoretically infinite voltage potential to increase. Okay. That happens in here, and you get a lot of HO bubbles. What's that say? Liquid resonant cavity capacitor. Capacitively coupled. And all this is literally 2 electrodes in a water bath. Or, well, it says optional, laser energy. Yeah, you can have laser energy too, but that's optional. So yeah, that's the VIC circuit. I wanted to do that more diligently than last night. Hopefully I sped through it kind of in a somewhat concise manner. Energy? What is this? Open-ended energy system. What is this? Atomic energy level adjustment, photon energy absorption, universal energy path, sun energy, electron shell deflection. What's the rest of that? Energized state, de-energized state. This is an atom, is what he's saying. And he's saying you can get more energy out by simply wiggling the electrons. That's what the sun does. Excuse me. So that's his model of the atom. He called it universal energy. Okay, you can tap the hydrogen atom for more energy out than you put in. That's the thesis from Stanley Meyer on that end. We could go over his resonant cavity. We could go over the gas processor. We could do a whole bunch of things. Stanley Meyer has so many inventions pertaining to this technology. And it's important because it's a universal process. Tapping something, wiggling it, and increasing energy by allowing it to give you energy, seems like that's life. Seems like that's creation. Seems like that's the universe in and of itself. It's not entropic. Things aren't dying all the time. Things are constantly being reborn. It's it's an electric universe. It's beautiful. And yeah, that basically wraps up what I wanted to talk about. Ether technology, Stanley Meyer so far. I just wanted to do some quick other things to say. I got some. What did I do? What did I even do? What am I even here? I'm here because I think there's a way to make UFOs, to put it in a non-precise manner whatsoever. I think we can make UFOs simply and easily. I think we can manufacture more UFOs per year than Ford does vehicles. I think anything is possible. I think we can travel through stargates. I think Stargate was disclosure for some reason. I thankfully got to talk to Dan Winter, and I asked him, I was like, so why was Stargate soft disclosure? And he goes, uh, he goes, soft, oh, soft disclosure, hard disclosure. What's the difference? Ha ha ha. It's like, really, Dan? Really? Okay. Enough said, huh? Wow. So I think anything is possible, and I'm here to spread the word about plasma because plasma seems to be the key to do all this. There's a reason why we weren't taught this in high school or middle school or anything, because it would be too powerful. You can't simply have somebody that can make a synthetic black hole and tractor beams and UFOs. You can't have those people walking around. You got to have those people wrapped up. So that's why I'm here. I don't want to be wrapped up. I want to be public. I want to do everything I want to do, but also not have like a destructive boss. Yeah. So Stanley Meyer, intuitive genius, helps you out learning quite a bit just by a process alone. Ether technology, an incredibly undervalued book. I think every university should focus on and immediately try to debunk themselves because I can't. I'm here a year and a half later. The book's still real. I mean, I didn't even think it was real when I bought it. I'm like, a rational approach to gravity control, really, from 1977, really. It's like, yeah, really, and it's probably there. He mentioned other folks in the book that are from the 1800s. That Marcel Page's guy talks about a device he saw from like 1892 or something. Don't quote me on the date, but yeah, it's insane. All this has been suppressed. And I'm just here to plasma pill the world. I wanted to be a comedian. I did comedy for I was writing jokes constantly for like a year and a half before this. And then I was like, wait a minute. This book can't be real. This has got to be a fake book. This ether technology is not real. What do you mean by, what is even an ether? What do you mean? Ether. Like, is that like some potion or something? I don't know. Yeah. So, that's my story, kind of. I think anything is possible. I want to have abundance yesterday. I don't want to be I don't want to be doing the rat race stuff in my day-to-day life that everybody's forced to do. I don't want to have to go to the DMV to get freaking renewal tabs and then all the other stuff. It's ridiculous. And then I have to pay taxes on top of my taxes and end up owing a ton at the end of the year. This makes no sense. It's literally so unfair. That's quite the tangent to get off. Anyways, plasma physics. It's the way to rule the world. Don't tell them I told you. It's just the way it is. And study for yourself. There's this book. There's all kinds of them. I thought I had Larry Reed's book in front of me. I just got this one. I haven't checked it out. Larry Reed's book is insane. Oh, Tom Valone. Insane book. They're all crazy. And some of these I've skimmed, some of these I've read. I should take that back. I've skimmed all of them. Some of these I haven't read yet, though. But Agnew H. Bainson, Electrical Thrust Producing Device, filed September 15th, 1961. Looks like Townsend Brown stuff, too, doesn't it? So you can start to see the pattern if you pick up some textbooks for yourself, okay? You don't want UFO disclosure from the government. You want UFO discovery for yourself. That's what you want, okay? And if you pick up a few physics textbooks or some murked inventors you'll start to see the pattern. And it's an electrical pattern. Keep that in mind, because it's an electric universe. Thank you, Wallace Thornhill and David Talbot and the rest of them. So that's my story. I could go further, but I think I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.